seems like this happens every time, but we are 2-1 in the daily yet again, playing for everything. On the play, and this hand is good with another land, but I think with how much removal standard decks play that my Mystic is not going to live, and then I just need to bank on drawing the land, and I'm not super excited about that prospect, possibly because I was kind of burned last round, but still, just like one lander on the play doesn't seem great. If it was an untapped land and could play turn 2 Wayfinder under like Lightning Strike and stuff, then maybe I would keep it, but I think this is a mulligan. And this hand is certainly reasonable, so. Just need to find a land, which I think I can do with this Wayfinder. Now, I could choose to be a little greedy here, but I don't think I have to be. I'm going to play Caryatid next turn, probably. And then I can play Wayfinder, and if I hit an untapped land, then I can commune and next turn play Whip. But if I brick, then I'm going to want this Temple, so I'm just going to keep it on top, because I think the only way I could really be in a bad spot is if I do brick. Kind of upset at the amount of blue-green lands in this deck. I know there's only one Temple of Mystery, but it just seems like it comes up so often, and I'm kind of short on double black every once in a while. I'd definitely like to see an Urborg in here, like I said earlier. And so we mill some pretty reasonable stuff for the Whip, which is nice. Have the Doomwake, especially against a white-red deck. It's probably going to end up being pretty good. And I'm just going to fetch the Swamp now. Get my Commune on. Try and put like a Hornet Queen in the graveyard, and then we'll have everything. Wouldn't mind picking up like a Sidisi here. Another Wayfinder is pretty good too. Yeah, we should be able to find whatever we need. Mostly banking on this Whip living, but it's kind of tough to think that it is not going to live in game 1. And he lightning strikes the Wayfinder, which is kind of odd. That leads me to believe that he probably has a Rabble Master and wants to start accumulating tokens. That does appear to be the case. I think I kind of want to just get Whip out here. And then I can bring back Doomwake next turn, gain some life. Also play a Wayfinder. I'm going to take a pretty big hit this turn, but I think it's okay. I think I'll be able to undo it next turn, so should be fine. I think there's certainly some merit to just playing out Courser and Wayfinder, but if he has a removal spell for Courser, then I'm in the same spot, except I just took an extra attack, so I think it's just better to play Whip. And we just naturally draw a Doomwake? Huh. So now, I could just cast Doomwake. He could have a main deck Stroke, but not many people have that. Normally you see just Nullify or potentially Dissolve if they're playing like a more controlling version. But with Rabble Master, there's probably not Dissolve. Like Nullify is certainly a consideration, maybe Stroke, but I doubt it. So I'm probably not going to play around it regardless. So I could cast Doomwake, but I think I'm better off just playing Wayfinder. And then if I hit a Hornet Queen, I'll whip that, but otherwise I'll just whip the Doomwake and get an attack with that. And we do hit the Queen. I believe that's a better whip target. Maybe Doomwake still is better. I really don't want to have to trade all the bees that I get for goblins, so yeah, maybe Doomwake's just better. I can just whip the queen next turn. I guess you could Jeskai Charm here. Yeah, I probably should have thought about that before I made my decision. So now things might be a little awkward. Also, Charm would have made potentially casting Doomwake a little bit more attractive. So now I can just burn the Wayfinder and attack me for 8, it looks like. So yeah, that turn did not go well. Maybe hardcasting Doomwake was the best option. And then if he deals with that somehow, like Jeskai Charms to put it on top or something, then I still have Caryatid to chump the Rabble Master for a turn. So yeah, that didn't go particularly well. Whipping Sidisi might have actually been pretty good too, because I could get 2 triggers off it with the ETB and attack, but if he did have Lightning Strike, then I'd basically just get nothing. So I guess I couldn't really do that. So it was casting Doomwake versus whipping Hornet Queen, and maybe Queen would have been better. So this turn, I think I have to cast Doomwake. And then hopefully he just doesn't untap and kill me. And then if that doesn't happen, if I live through this turn, I should be in good shape. Although I think I probably should have been in good shape anyway, but just kind of messed it up. So 6 mana, 3 cards, could very easily be Stoke and Jeskai Charm. But I don't think he'd be slow rolling me, so I feel like I'm safe. I'm just going to start with Magma Jet on my Giant, so probably has the Stoke. So it has a Stoke, but I guess drew Jet, otherwise he would have jetted me end of turn. So chump Rebel Master or block token. I think it's block token. Go to 5. Next turn I can play Courser, whip the Queen. Go up to 7. I'm gonna see how he did his jet. Might be relevant. I kept them both on top. It's kind of weird. So even if he kept a 4-point, even if he has a 4-point burn spell in his hand, he can't have a lightning strike, I don't think, because he could just go make a goblin, stoke you, jet you, strike you. So I don't think he has a 4 damage spell, and if that's the case, then me being at 7 is safe. So I think I can just block the goblin. And then this way, I also get to play a land and gain a life. So actually end up at 8. And then that means I can afford to make bees and don't have to doom wake him. Oh, he's casting a dig. I think that's still okay. I think he's just too far behind at this point. Assuming he's a normal list, I don't think there's anything he can have. Stokes my Courser. Don't really care about that too much. Yeah, basically at the point where he has to start killing my stuff is where he starts losing. So I think I just keep one bee back, kill that Rabble Master, 7, put him to 5, and I can't kill him with bees next turn. Yeah, so I should just attack with the other bee and chump a carry hit because I don't really need it anymore. He keeps playing, but I still don't think it matters. Be very surprised if he had something. Post-combat Mantis Rider. Very strange. Here, I think I can just attack with everyone. Then he has to have a spell. And even if he does, I still think I'm in a good position. Like with Whip, even if he has an hostilities or anger, Elspeth, whatever, it just doesn't matter. So yeah. Death by bees. So again, not too much help in this matchup, but not that surprising considering that these matchups are supposed to be pretty good. So Drown in Sorrow is consideration against Rabble Master. Negate might be good against either his burn, or if he brings in sweepers, or even if he's just trying to like dig through time to find burn. Thoughtseize is like also fine in like the same vein, but if he sticks to the beatdown plan, I don't really want to be losing the life. So I think it's just a pretty clean Doomwake Pharika for 2 negates. I guess I want these drowns also. So if he ends up having a bunch of removal, then I want the soul. I can always cut the commune or a commune, and then maybe a Hornet Queen just because it's really slow, and it basically locks up the game against his flyers, but I think I have time to find it, and I don't want a bunch of expensive cards. So that looks reasonable to me. And suspension field's my courser, so looks like probably has a strike for this Sidisi, and maybe that's okay since I have another one, but I don't really want to give him a chance to just use his mana. But then again, like if he untaps and slams something like a Sarkin or Storm Breath, then I'm going to kind of regret just not casting this. So I think I should just play this. So in the next couple turns, I can play another one and then the Soul. And I don't want to just like skip this turn and end the game with a Sidisi in my hand that I never cast. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So, did not die. I'm pretty surprised. I guess his post-board plan could be like all suspension fields, and then it's pretty awkward against Sidisi. I really do think he needs to be putting pressure on me, though. I guess he has anger. That's fine. So has anger and no other land. Okay. So back in the same spot. Definitely don't want this drown with how this game is playing out. And the fact that I still have one. It's weird for him to have stuff like anger when I don't think he's really favored going long. And we get to untap, so it means we get an attack step in. He could certainly still have a removal spell, but does not appear to be the case. So if he had another anger, I think he would have used it. He could have end hostilities, or he could just be sitting on burn, maybe a counter spell. Obviously, I would like the 6/6 in play, but if he counters it, that's not the end of the world either. And if he end hostilities me, that's certainly fine too. So I feel like it's pretty safe to just run this thing out there. Could get like suspension fielded, but then he still has to deal with all the other stuff I have in play. And 6/6 is just really big. Just guys have a tough time beating things with 5 toughness or more. And I just put my guy on top. He could have done a pretty cool thing where he could have charmed my Sidisi in response to the trigger. Depending on what he was playing for, that might not matter. And yeah, he just has an anger. So now, does he have a nullify or something? Does it even matter? Probably not. I think he was just probably trying to buy some time against the 6/6, but yeah, okay. Stroked. Fair enough. I do get to use it and get back a bunch of Hornet Queens though, so almost certainly not going to save him. By a bunch, I mean the actual 3 Hornet Queens. I get them all. Certainly not every day you see that. guess we just keep seeing what he has. Seems to be doing a pretty good job of answering what I'm doing so far, but it can't happen forever. And does not look, well, it didn't look like he had a dig through time, but just drew one apparently. So that's going to be what he needs to do to keep ahead, but still have 2 more Hornet Queens. Ew. That is a good one. Now we get to queen him with counterspell backup. Casting my 7-drop, also with a counterspell. Pretty absurd. And he's going to magma spray the queen. I don't really care. The 4 insects are probably good enough to just kill him. And he has no follow-up. Draw a commune. I'm definitely not casting Hornet Queen this turn because I don't want to walk into a sweeper and be on the wrong end of a counter war. So I think I'm just going to pressure him with these bees, make him answer them, and play this commune. Obviously the best card I can find is whip, but I've gone through 3 already, so that's not likely. So maybe just trying to hit like a courser here or something. I do hit a courser. And mill over a bunch of lands, so pretty good commune. And we can get a free land. Perfect. Bees put him to 9. Now he's on the old 2-turn clock. And he's just not doing anything. I've had this drown in my hand since the opener, and he's just not tried to deal me damage once yet. And he's lightning striking a bee. It's just sad. Now he's at 4 and drew a temple, so that I guess the thing he had last turn, if it was a charm, he could just use on courser this turn and then go to 1. Yeah. I'd certainly try and fight over that, but okay. So now he's at 2. I have 3 1/1s and a counterspell, so that should do it. Could certainly overextend more, but it doesn't really matter. Death by Elvish Mystic. That's it, 3-1. So close match against Mardu, beat 2 teamer decks, which might not be the norm. Felt like they could have been a little bit faster and have a lot of ways to close out the games. And then the Jeskai deck, like morphing into this control-ish deck, didn't seem great, especially keeping in like all these things like Magma Jet, which don't really kill a lot of relevant things. Like the sprays are okay since it means I can't whip my Hornet Queen back, and they might need to do that anyway. But Magma Jet itself does not seem great. Like if there was a Mantis Rider this game, it would have been completely different. Even if he would have been pressuring me with Rabble Master or Seeker or whatever, would have been fine. But it just got to the point where like I'm still at 20 and he has like 10 points of burn and just can't do anything. So I'm not sure I really like this plan coming out of Jeskai, but it certainly seemed pretty good out of Mardu, and That guy, I think, just like crushed me in the post-board games. So overall, not too bad. Like the deck. I'm not sure if this or the Abzan one is better. Like Sidisi was fine, but there were also a lot of situations where Rhino would have given me a nice life buffer. So that one still seems pretty good too. But this one is definitely a consideration. You guys should check it out.